All right, guys. So, in today's lesson, you are going to be getting ready to start writing different sections of your informational book. So, our teaching point for today is that today I wanted to remind you that writers, especially writers of informational text, they take time to think of the structure of their writing. So, yesterday during your time in the hallway, you kind of narrowed it down to one topic. You looked at different books to kind of see how informational texts are structured. And now today you're going to start thinking about how you personally are going to structure your written informational book. And we're going to start coming up with a plan. Okay. It sounds like it's a lot, but I have it broken down into some pretty simple steps. I'm going to walk you through it, how I would do mine. And then either today or when you're with me in your station, you're going to have a chance to start developing your plan for your informational book. So, when we're looking at our informational book, we can break it down structurally into a few different ways. Um, you could structure it chronologically, which means you're going to be telling it in order, kind of like a time order. So, this happened first, and this happened second, this happened third. If you're doing something that focuses on history, so maybe if you're doing, I know some people are doing a sports team, if you're choosing to do this history of the sports team, chronological might be the best for you because you're going to talk about how the events took place. Um, Another way you can structure your informational book is doing it categorically, meaning you're doing it by categories. And you will see when I structure my plan for my book, this is kind of what fits in for my topic because I'm not doing something that happened over a time period, so I'm breaking it apart categorically. And it'll make more sense when we kind of walk through how I'm structuring mine. So, as we go through these steps, pause the video and I want you to actually do the steps with me in your writing binder. If this video takes a little longer for you to get through, meaning if you don't get through it all today, you can go back tomorrow and continue to watch it because these steps are super important to go through. So, the first thing step one is thinking about your topic. And whenever there's a pink box on your screen, that's kind of like what it would look like in my notebook. So I'm using pink so you know that that is where my writing is going to be. So thinking about your topic and the parts that you want to include. So yesterday we started on our topics, narrowing it down, and I decided that I was going to focus my topic on New York City. And last night, I was really thinking about what parts I want to include. And I kind of had decided I want to make it an informational book that makes people want to travel there. So I want to include different categorical topics or sections for this. So some of the sections that I thought I would include are I'm going to include places to shop, places to eat, famous attractions, places to sleep. So those are my four that I have so far. That doesn't mean that I might not find other sections or come up with other sections as I'm doing my researching, because I probably will. But right now, I have those four as the parts I'm going to use within my informational book. Okay, so right now, pause the video, come up with your topic, and start writing down what sections of your book do you want to include. Your next step for section 2 is to think about how might your writing go? So what kind of writing might be included in each part? So I'm going to actually copy exactly what I have and I'm going to add to it. So maybe under my places to shop, some things that I might have within this part is maybe I'm going to research famous stores. Maybe I want to know where their locations are. We can buy there. Why are they famous? Maybe I want to look up unique stores or unique shops. Same thing for places to eat. So I'm going to do some researching some famous shops, researching some famous restaurants. Maybe I want to see if there's any famous chefs that cook in the city. I might look up some restaurant reviews. For famous attractions, maybe I'm going to look up historical attractions. Maybe museums. Like famous locations within the city, like Times Square. And then places to sleep. Maybe there's some famous hotels. And maybe I would want to talk about what is the history behind those hotels. Why are they famous? Okay, so you're going to think about what you want to include with each of those 4 sections. So go ahead, stop your video, pause it, and kind of start coming up with these points will help you know what you're supposed to research when you're given research time. So I know, like if I look at my places to shop, I know that when I'm given research time, I can go ahead and look up famous stores. I can go ahead and look up the locations. Maybe I want to look up, is it an expensive store? What products could I buy there? Anything to make my book seem like a tourist guide to New York. If you're doing a person, then maybe you're going to look up what questions do you want to look up for that specific part of your book. Then part 3 is we are going to plan on a way to take notes and get ideas. And this is kind of where you're tailoring your note taking to how you best take notes as a writer. Okay. So for me, and I'm going to pull up another tab here. Hold on a second here. So I do best taking notes when I kind of map it out. So if I were doing this in my notebook, I would do more of like a bubble map. But that's just how I take notes. So what I did in the middle is I did New York City, and then I have my 4 topics. So I'm going to do restaurants, places to shop, attractions to visit, and places to stay. And then within each one of these, I would branch off and have my notes taken. So once I start researching some restaurants, I'll be able to jot notes down as to, like, if there are, names of famous restaurants. Okay, obviously your spelling doesn't really matter for this because this is just your draft. And then so this is getting us ready for our researching part. Right now, we're not researching just yet. You're just getting ready. You're having a plan for how you want to conduct your research. Okay? That's where we're going to stop today. So the last thing you're going to do today is step 3, planning a way to take your notes. So you should have, if we go back, you should have completed step 1, places to shop, or whatever your topics are, your subtopics for your main topic, whatever parts you're wanting to include. Then underneath those parts, you're coming up with what you might include for each one of those sections. Almost think of like each section is a chapter in your book, and what do you want to include in each chapter? And then finally, the last thing that you're going to do today is you will be going ahead and making a plan for how you intend to take notes. So that's today's lesson. We will be going back over it together when you're at the kidney table if you have any questions. Otherwise, you guys are all set to begin working on your written informational book.